Ben-Gurion Airport, also referred to by its Hebrew acronym Natbag, is Israel's main international airport, handling over 14.2 million passengers in 2013. It is one of two airports serving the Tel Aviv Metropolitan Area, the other being Sde Dov Airport, which provides primarily domestic flights. Named after David Ben-Gurion, Israel's inaugural Prime Minister, Ben-Gurion Airport serves as an international gateway to not only the Tel Aviv and Jerusalem metropolitan areas but to the majority of Israel. The airport serves as a hub for Israir Airlines, and Arkia Israel Airlines. Ben-Gurion Airport is located near the suburb of Lod, 19 km from Tel Aviv's city center, in the southeastern outskirts of Tel Aviv. Ben-Gurion Airport is operated by the Israir Airports Authority, a government-owned corporation that manages all public airports and border crossings in Israel. Ben-Gurion Airport is considered to be among the 5 best airports in the Middle East due to its passenger experience and its high level of security. Security forces such as Israel police officers, IDF and Israel border police soldiers are complemented by airport security guards which operate both in uniform and undercover to maintain a high level of vigilance to detect any possible threats. The airport has been the target of several terrorist attacks, but no attempt to hijack a plane departing from Ben-Gurion Airport has succeeded. History. Early history. The airport began as an airstrip of 4 concrete runways on the outskirts of the town of Lida. It was built in 1936, during the British Mandate for Palestine, chiefly for military purposes. First known as Wilhelm Airport, it was renamed RAF Station Lida in 1943. During World War II it served as a major airfield for military air transport and aircraft ferry operations between military bases in Europe, Africa, the Middle East and Southeast Asia. The first civilian transatlantic route, New York City to Tel Aviv, was inaugurated by TWA in 1946. The British gave up Lida Airport at the end of April 1948. Soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces captured the airport on July 10, 1948, in Operation Danny, transferring control to the newly declared State of Israel. Flights resumed on November 24, 1948. That year, 40,000 passengers passed through the terminal. By 1952, the number had risen to 100,000 a month. Within a decade, air traffic increased to the point where local flights had to be redirected to the Sde Dov airfield on the northern Tel Aviv coast. By the mid-1960s, 14 international airlines were landing at Lod Airport. The airport has 4 runways paved with concrete. The airport was renamed Ben-Gurion International Airport in 1973 to honor Israel's first Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion. Modern history. More buildings and runways were added over the years, but with the onset of mass immigration from Ethiopia and the former Soviet Union in the 1980s and 90s, as well as the global increase of international business travel, the existing facilities became painfully inadequate, prompting the design of new state-of-the-art terminal that could also accommodate the expected tourism influx for the 2000 millennium celebrations. The decision to go ahead with project was reached in January 1994, but Terminal 3 only opened its doors a decade later, on November 2, 2004. On July 2014, during a conflict with Gaza, several airlines banned their flights to the airport for a couple of days. Hijack incidents. While Ben-Gurion Airport has been a target of Palestinian attacks, the adoption of strict security precautions has ensured that no aircraft departing from Ben-Gurion Airport has ever been hijacked. On the other hand, airliners hijacked from other countries have landed at Ben-Gurion, contributing to 2 major incidents in the airport's history. In the first, on May 8, 1972, 4 Palestinian Black September terrorists hijacked a Sabena flight en route from Vienna and forced it to land at Ben-Gurion Airport. Sayeret Matkal commandos led by Ehud Barak stormed the plane, killing 2 of the hijackers and capturing the other 2. 1 passenger was killed. Later that month, on May 30, 1972, in an attack known as the Lod Airport Massacre, 24 people were killed and 80 injured when 3 members of the Japanese Red Army sprayed machine gun fire into the passenger arrival area. The victims included Aharon Katzir, a prominent protein biophysicist and brother of Israel's fourth president. Those injured included Ephraim Katzir and a group of 20 Puerto Rican tourists who had just arrived in Israel. The only terrorist who survived was Kozo Okamoto, who received a life sentence but was set free in a prisoner exchange with the PFLPGC. Passenger terminals, Terminal 1. Prior to the opening of Terminal 3, Terminal 1 was the main terminal building at Ben-Gurion Airport. At that time, the departures check-in area was located on the ground floor. From there, passengers proceeded upstairs to the main departures hall, which contained passport control, duty-free shops, VIP lounges, one synagogue and boarding gates. At the gates, travelers would be required to descend a flight of stairs to return to the ground floor where waiting shuttle buses transported them to airplanes on the tarmac. The arrivals hall with passport control, luggage carousels, duty-free pickup and customs was located at the south end of the building. The shuttle buses transferred passengers and crews to and from the terminal to airplanes which were parked on the tarmac over 500 am away. After Terminal 3 opened, Terminal 1 was closed except for domestic flights to the airport in Eilat and government flights such as special immigrant flights from North America and Africa. Chartered flights organized by Nefas carrying immigrants from North America and England use this terminal for their landing ceremonies several times a year. Terminal 1 had been closed in 2003 and then reopened in 2007 as a domestic terminal following extensive renovations, and in July 2008, to cater for summer charter and low-cost flights. It remained open for these charter and low-cost flights for the 2008 summer season, with passengers checking in and passing through security here, before being bused to Terminal 3. The terminal closed temporarily in October 2008, when it underwent further renovation and reopened again in summer 2009, when it was expected to reach its 3-month capacity of 600,000 passengers on international flights. As of 2010, several low-cost carriers' international flights were operating out of Terminal 1 year-round, including Vueling flights to Barcelona and EasyJet flights to London, Manchester, Geneva, and Basel. These passengers check in, go through passport control and security in Terminal 1, and are then bused directly to the departure lounge at Terminal 3, from which all other international flights operate. Incoming flights for these airlines are handled solely in Terminal 3. Although Terminal 1 was closed between 2003 and 2007, the building served as a venue for various events and large-scale exhibitions, including the Bezalel Academy of Arts Centennial Exhibition, which was held there in 2006. There is now talk of keeping Terminal 1 open 24 hours a day in order to handle charter flights from Europe. The renovations for the terminal were designed by Yosef Asser with 3 individual atmospheric themes. Firstly, the public halls have a Land of Israel character with walls painted in the colors of Israel's Judean, Jerusalem and Galilee mountains. The departure hall is given an atmosphere of vacation and leisure, whilst the arrivals hall is given a more urban theme as passengers return to the city. In February 2006, the Israel Airports Authority announced plans to invest $4.3 million NIS in a new VIP wing for private jet passengers and crews, as well as others interested in avoiding the main terminal. VIP ground services already exist, but a substantial increase in users has justified expanding the facilities, which will also boost airport revenues. The IAA released figures showing significant growth in private jet flights as well as private jet users. The new VIP wing, operated by an outside licensee, will be located in an upgraded and expanded section of Terminal 1. All flight procedures will be handled here. This wing will include a hall equipped for press conferences, a deluxe lounge, special meeting rooms equipped with state-of-the-art business facilities and a designated lounge for flight crews who spend time at the airport between flights. It was announced in January 2008, however, that the IAA planned to construct a new 1,000 square meter VIP terminal next to Terminal 3. Terminal 3. Terminal 3, which opened on October 28, 2004, replaced Terminal 1 as the main international gateway to and from Israel. The building was designed by Skidmore, Owings and Merrill. Moshe Safety and Associates and TRA designed a linking structure in the airside departure areas and gates. Ram Karmi and other Israeli architects were the local architects of record. The inaugural flight was an El Al flight to John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York City. The new terminal was built to serve over 10 million passengers per year. It could accommodate 16 million passengers a year with the addition of 2 concourses to the existing 3. One additional concourse is currently in the planning stages, along with an expansion of the landside terminal. Due to the proximity of the airport to the country's largest population centers and the problem of noise pollution, another international airport is being considered to be built elsewhere in the country. Work on Natbag 2000, as the Terminal 3 project was known, was scheduled for completion prior to 2000 in order to handle a massive influx of pilgrims expected for the Millennium celebrations. This deadline was not met due to higher than anticipated costs and a series of work stoppages in the wake of the bankruptcy of the main Turkish contractor. The project eventually cost an estimated $1 billion. Terminal 3 uses the jetway system. The overall layout is similar to that of airports in Europe and North America, with multiple levels and considerable distances to walk after disembarking from the aircraft. The walk is assisted by escalators and moving walkways. The upper-level departures hall, with an area of over 10,000 am2, is equipped with 110 check-in counters and as well as flight information display systems. A small shopping mall, known as Buy and Buy, is open to both travelers and the general public. The mall, which includes shops, restaurants and a post office, was planned to be a draw for non-flyers too. On the same level as the mall, passengers enter passport control and the security check. Planes taking off and landing can be viewed from a distinctive tilted glass wall. The arrivals hall is located on the ground floor where there are also 20 additional check-in counters. Car rental counters are located in an intermediate level situated between the departing and arriving passenger halls. Terminal 3 has 2 synagogues. After the main security check, passengers wait for their flights in the star-shaped duty-free rotunda. A variety of cafes, restaurants and duty-free shops are located there, open 24 hours a day, as well as a synagogue, banking facilities, a transit hall for connecting passengers and a desk for VAT refunds. Terminal 3 has a total of 30 gates divided among 3 concourses, each with 8 jetway-equipped gates and 2 stand gates from which passengers are ferried to the aircraft. Almost all LL flights utilize Concourse D, with other airlines using Concourses B and C. Room exists for 2 additional concourses. Construction of Concourse E along with an expansion of the landside terminal is planned. In March 2011, the government of Israel approved a budget of NIS $758 million for Concourse E and its related facilities. Construction began in the fall of 2014 and is expected to take approximately 3 years to complete. Also under construction as of 2014 is a new, 100m tall control tower and additional aircraft parking ramps adjacent to Terminal 3. Free wireless internet is provided throughout the terminal. The terminal has 3 business lounges: the exclusive LL King David Lounge for frequent flyers and 2 Dan lounges for either privileged or paying flyers. In January 2007, the IAA announced plans for a 120-bed hotel at Terminal 3. Former and unopened terminals. Terminal 2 Terminal 2 was inaugurated in 1969 when Arkia resumed operations at the airport after the Six-Day War. Terminal 2 served domestic flights until February 20, 2007 when these services moved into the refurbished Terminal 1. Due to increased traffic in the late 1990s and overcapacity reached at Terminal 1, an international section was added until Terminal 3 was opened. After the transfer of domestic services to Terminal 1, Terminal 2 was demolished in order to make room for additional air freight handling areas. Terminal 4, this terminal, built in 1999, was meant to handle the crowds expected in 2000, but never officially opened. To date, it has only been used as a terminal for passengers arriving from Asia during the SARS epidemic. Another use for the terminal was for the memorial ceremonies upon the arrival of the casket of Colonel Ilan Ramon after the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster in February 2003 and the arrival of Elchanan Tenenbaum and the caskets of 3 Israeli soldiers from Lebanon in January 2004. Office buildings. The airport city development, an office park, is located east of the main airport property. It is at the junction of the Jerusalem, Dan, and Tel Aviv Metropolitan Areas. The head office of El Al is located at Ben-Gurion Airport, as is the head office of the Israel Airports Authority, and the head office of the Civil Aviation Authority. Cal Cargo Airlines has its head office in the airport city development of Ben-Gurion. In addition, Israel Aerospace Industries also maintains its head office on airport grounds as well as extensive aviation construction and repair facilities. Runways. Main runway. The closest runway to Terminals 1 and 3 is 12/30, 3,112 am in length, and is followed by a taxiway. Most landings take place on this runway from west to east, approaching from the Mediterranean Sea over southern Tel Aviv. During inclement weather, it may also be used for takeoffs. A $17 million NIS renovation project was completed in November 2007 which reinforced the runway and made it suitable for future wide-body aircraft. In September 2008, a new ILS serving the runway was activated. The main runway was closed from 2011 until early 2014 in order to accommodate the extension of runway 03/21 and other construction activity in the vicinity of the runway. Short runway. When it was originally built, the short runway was 1,780 am long, making it too short to accommodate most mainline passenger jets. At the time it mainly served cargo aircraft of the Israeli Air Force and is a taxiway for runway 26. However, by late 2011, the runway was closed and most of the activity in the military apron to the east of the runway was permanently relocated to the Neve Tamar base in southern Israel. In May 2014 the runway was reopened after having been rebuilt and lengthened to 2,772 am, allowing it to handle most types of aircraft. It is equipped with an ILS and mostly handles landings from north to south. Quiet runway, the longest runway at the airfield, 4,062 am, and the main takeoff runway from east to west, referred to as the quiet runway since jets taking off in this direction produce less noise pollution for surrounding residents. The $24 million NIS renovation project completed in February 2006 reinforced the runway and made it suitable for future wide-body aircraft such as the new Airbus A380. History and development. The original layout of the airfield as designed by the British in the 1930s included 4 intersecting 800m runways suitable for the piston-engined aircraft of the day. However, none of this original layout is visible nowadays since this usage increased and aircraft types and needs changed over the years. Various runways on the airport's premises were built and removed. The main runway is the oldest surviving runway in the airport, with the quiet and short runways having been built in the late 1960s and 1970s. Since very little commercial traffic could operate on the short runway, it meant that for approximately 40 years, the airport mostly relied on runways 12/30 and 08/26. This presented a problem however. The fact that these two runways intersect near their western end creates a crisscross pattern between aircraft landing and taking off. This pattern reduces the number of aircraft which can arrive to and depart from the airport and has detrimental safety implications as well. With passenger traffic projected to increase, plans were drawn in the 1980s and 90s for the extension of runways 03/21 and 08/26 as a means of alleviating some of Ben-Gurion's safety and capacity concerns. These plans was approved in 1997 and construction began in 2010. The extension of runway 03/21 allows the airport to operate in an open V configuration, allowing for simultaneous landings and takeoffs on runways 08/26 and 03/21 and thus more than double the number of aircraft movements which can be handled at peak times, while increasing the overall level of air safety in and around the airport. Construction took 4 years and cost $1 billion NIS and was completed May 29, 2014. It included paving 22 kilometers of runways and taxiways, using more than 1.5 million tons of asphalt, laying 1 million meters of runway lighting cables, 50,000 meters of high-voltage power lines and 10,000 light fixtures. The construction of several new taxiways between the existing runways and terminals also significantly reduced taxi times at the airport. Citizen objections: while Ben-Gurion Airport is conveniently located in the very center of the country, this fact also means that the airport is surrounded by various residential communities who often complain of noise pollution caused by the airport. Following the completion of the extension of runway 03/21, residents north of the airport sued the Israeli aviation authorities, claiming that the authorities intend to use the runway to a greater degree than was originally agreed with them during the approval process for the airport runway's reconfiguration project. Security procedures: Ben-Gurion International Airport is one of the world's most secured airports. Security operates on several levels. All cars, taxis, buses and trucks go through a preliminary security checkpoint before entering the airport compound. Armed guards spot-check the vehicles by looking into cars, taxis and boarding buses, exchanging a few words with the driver and passengers. Armed security personnel stationed at the terminal entrances keep a close watch on those who enter the buildings. If someone arouses their suspicion or looks nervous, they may strike up a conversation to further assess the person's intent. Plainclothes armed personnel patrol the area outside the building, and hidden surveillance cameras operate at all times. Inside the building, both uniformed and plainclothes security officers are on constant patrol. Departing passengers are personally questioned by security agents even before arriving at the check-in desk. This interview can last as little as a minute, or as long as an hour if a passenger is selected for additional screening. Luggage and body searches may be conducted. Until August 2007 there was a system of color codes on checked baggage, but the practice was discontinued after complaints of discrimination. In the past, checked baggage was screened following the personal interview and before passengers arrived at the check-in desks. Occasionally, if security assessed a person as a low risk, they were passed straight through to the check-in desks, bypassing the main X-ray machines, a practice which also drew some discrimination complaints. This process ceased in April 2014 when the main X-ray machines were removed from the passenger queuing area and baggage screening began being performed after the baggage was checked in by airline representatives. Baggage screening: after check-in, all checked baggage is screened using sophisticated X-ray and CT scanners and put in a pressure chamber to trigger any possible explosive devices. Following the check-in process, passengers continue to personal security and passport control. Before passing through the metal detectors and placing carry-on baggage through the X-ray machine at the security checkpoint, passports and boarding passes are re-inspected and additional questions may be asked. Before boarding the aircraft, passports and boarding passes are verified once again. Security procedures for incoming flights are not as stringent, but passengers may be questioned by passport control depending on country of origin, or countries visited prior to arrival in Israel. Passengers who have recently visited countries at war with Israel will be subject to further questioning. Passenger rankings: in December 2006, Ben-Gurion International Airport ranked first among 40 European airports and 8th out of 77 airports in the world, in a survey, conducted by Airports Council International, to determine the most customer-friendly airport. Tel Aviv placed second in the grouping of airports which carry between 5 and 15 million passengers per year behind Japan's Nagoya Airport. The survey consisted of 34 questions. A random sampling of 350 passengers at the departure gate were asked how satisfied they were with the service, infrastructure and facilities. Ben-Gurion received a rating of 3.94 out of 5, followed by Vienna, Munich, Amsterdam, Brussels, Zurich, Copenhagen and Helsinki. The airport retained its title as the best Middle Eastern airport in the 2007 and 2008 surveys. Airlines and destinations, passenger, cargo, statistics. The airport's busiest year so far was 2013, 14.2 million passengers pass through the airport on nearly 105,000 commercial operations. In 2012, the busiest airlines on international routes were El Al, Arkia, Lufthansa, Turkish Airlines, United Airlines, and Alitalia. A steep rise in the number of domestic passengers using the airport is expected someday in the future in the wake of plans to close down Sde Dov Airport and build luxury towers on the Sde Dov property. All commercial flights will be rerouted to Ben-Gurion. Ground transportation. The airport is located near Highway 1, the main Jerusalem-Tel Aviv Highway and Highway 40. The airport is accessible by car or public bus. Israel Railways operates train service from the airport to several parts of the country, and taxi stands are located outside the arrivals building. A popular transportation option is a shared taxi van, known in Hebrew as a monit route, going to Beersheba, Haifa and Jerusalem. Rail. Israel Railways operates the Ben-Gurion Airport railway station, located in the lower level of Terminal 3. From this station, passengers may head northwest to Tel Aviv, Haifa and other destinations in the north or southeast to Modin. The journey to Tel Aviv Sde Central Railway Station takes about 18 minutes. Almost 3.3 million passengers used the railway line to and from the airport in 2009. The line to Modin is part of a new rail line under construction from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, which is scheduled for completion in 2017. The service does not operate on Shabbat and Jewish holidays, but on all other days it runs day and night. The line to Nahara through Tel Aviv and Haifa operates 24 hours a day on weekdays. Bus or taxi. The airport is served by regular intercity bus lines, limousine and private shuttle services, route shared door-to-door taxi vans and standard taxis. Enegd No. 5 shuttle bus ferries passengers between the terminals and a small bus terminal in the nearby airport site El Al Junction outside the airport, where they can connect to regular Enegd bus routes passing through the area. Passengers connecting at Airport City can pay for both rides on the same ticket, not having to pay an extra fare for bus No. 5. Other bus companies directly serve Terminal 3, and the airport also provides a free shuttle bus between terminals. Car. Located on Highway 1, the Tel Aviv-Jerusalem Highway, the airport has a total of 11,300 parking spaces for short and long-term parking. The spaces for long-term parking are situated several kilometers from the terminal, and are reached by a free shuttle bus. Car rental at the airport is available from Avis, Budget, Dan, Hertz and Sixt. Accolades, see also. References. External links. Media related to Ben-Gurion International Airport at Wikimedia Commons, official website, accident history for TLV at Aviation Safety Network.